It is one of the most intense soccer series on the planet. The 1990s and early 2000s, including the 1995 Copa America and 2002 World Cup victories for the U.S. over the Mexicans, paved the way for this soccer rivalry to blossom into what we know today. The Mexicans have recently dominated the Americans with Gold Cup Finals victories, and their 2016 World Cup qualifying win in Columbus helped them get over the 2-0 hump. The rivalry remains as heated and intense as ever, but with a new generation of star players ready to take over, the hype is only getting stronger. El Tri Online proudly presents the Concacaf Nations League Final pregame show, and it starts right now. The inaugural Concacaf Nations League tournament held here in Denver, Colorado. There you see the shot above Empower Field at Mile High Stadium. It's a venue that's had a lot of different names. It is a venue that's in the running for World Cup 2026. I should say so is Phoenix, Arizona for some people out there. Just want to make that abundantly clear. But we're here for USA Mexico live from Raices Brewery. You can see us just on the other side. We are here. We have a collaboration, ladies and gentlemen. Max Bretos, the soccer OG, teaming up with El Tri Online. Ramon Chavez. Ramon works for El Tri Online. We have Joe Rodriguez, who you'll also see in a little bit, who runs the show. I'm excited to be here. It's a beautiful day, and we have USA Mexico.
No, definitely a thrilling Sunday here. Championship Sunday between Mexico and the USA. I can't wait to get to the stadium and watch the game, and I'm sure you guys can't wait to watch the game itself. But for right now, you know, we're here for the pregame. I'm thankful to be here with you, Max, and happy to get started.
You've been in Denver a little bit, Ramon. You really must like it, or do you want to have your 2 cents now about bringing the World Cup to Phoenix? Because I know that's your baby.
No, I mean, I definitely love Denver as a city, but I'm definitely saddened because Phoenix isn't going to get a World Cup game. But maybe I have to come back here to watch one. So
it's a great place to come here, Denver. And look at this. This is right by the stadium. The folks here at Raices, we're going to say hi to them. We have some giveaways. And look, this part of Denver wasn't a place you would come down to, but they have gentrified it, for lack of a better word. There is bars and breweries, residences all over this street. There is green belts. It's a really nice place. You can walk around. You see a lot of people on bikes. And this is part of it just to make this a big sports city, and soccer is on tap, and they want it to be a place that can host the World Cup. But this is a big event. We have Costa Rica. Who do you like, Costa Rica, Honduras?
I think Honduras, based on what they showed against the USA, I think they're going to be able to take it. Even though Costa Rica did take Mexico to the penalties, I didn't really see anything else on the field besides that. So I think Honduras is going to be taking it.
We have some ticos and catrachos around here. We see all the colors. We were here yesterday, we didn't feel it, but you feel it. Obviously we're next to the stadium, but you feel it now. There's a lot of pageantry. There's a lot of green. There's a lot of red, white, and blue. We saw big groups of Hondurans. Now you feel it. This is coming out of a pandemic, so it's not going to all happen overnight, but it's a good first step.
No, definitely. The stadium's only at 42% capacity. You know that the Empower Field can hold up to 78,000, if I'm correct. And so definitely it's a start. We're going to get there eventually, but now that we're close to the stadium on Championship Sunday, I think the excitement is going to blow through the roof. So happy to see all the fans out here, and happy to have, you know, some fireworks on the field, you know, to excite these fans coming out of a pandemic.
We'll talk about the game and the teams in particular. There's a lot of moving parts, a lot of players we may see. We're hearing Tyler Adams might be ready to be reintroduced, which should be huge news for the United States. Tata Martino was asked about the number 9. He said, the press said there is no number 9. He goes, that's a lack of respect. We have 2 number 9s in Henry Martin. Is it Martin? I've heard it 800 different ways.
It's Henry Martin, but I know Tata says it a different way.
Tata says it a different way. So he says they don't have a number 9. It's a lack of respect for Martin and Pulido that we have, but we don't know.
Yeah.
Both these teams really struggled offensively in the semis.
Yeah, definitely. After Raul Jimenez went down with that horrendous November injury, you know, I think the national team has been a little bit lost because they relied on him so much. Now with Henry Martin coming in, the goal production is not there. With Alan Pulido, you know, we do see it once in a while, and I think everyone's clamoring for a certain MLS Player of the Month. So we'll see if he gets called up anytime soon.
As you can see, Irving Chucky Lozano is going to be a guy that's going to be in the middle of this, but where does he play? I want to say hi to the folks. I saw Aaron Davis first up there on our YouTube page. You can get on Max Bretos YouTube or El Tri Online. Tell your friends we'll be here for the next hour previewing it. We'll get some people here to tell you about their feelings about getting this first USA-Mexico of 2021. there's a lot of storylines, but the number one discussed topic, and we heard it from our Uber driver, we heard it from our waitress. We went to P.F. Chang's last night. I rolled it out for the guys. Nothing but the finest cuisine. They talked about the chant, so that's obviously being in the news. The chant that unfortunately we hear at Mexico games, and not necessarily just Mexico games, but Concacaf put their foot down. They said if you hear the chant once, you can stop the game for 3 minutes. If you hear it a second time, they could stop it for 10 minutes. And if it's a third time, game could be suspended and possibly a forfeit. I don't know how that's going to be worked out, but it's not an exact science. It's a very delicate situation. You were here on Thursday. Did you hear it? We did see the one stoppage. Was it more than just that one time?
I heard it a set of different times, but I really do think it's just a particular group of fans. I don't think you should blame the entire crowd because of what some people are doing, a certain pocket of fans. So it definitely saddens me to continue to hear it. This has been years and years of CONCACAF and FIFA pleading fans not to do it, and now Memo Ochoa is having to step and say, you know what, fans, we as the players are asking you to stop this chant because we don't want to ruin any chances of World Cup qualification, or even today in the Nations League, of the game being forfeited.
The Football Federation of Mexico also had a statement. This is very serious. They want it gone, and they've had a huge campaign. Let's just watch the game. Let's watch the game and enjoy it. But we know it's a late kickoff. I see a lot of people upset on the East Coast because it's going to be 9 o'clock, 7 o'clock local time. We're in the mountain time zone. So you can't get everyone happy. They'll say it's better to have a game earlier in the day, and I would agree. But I will also add, it is hot here. It's about 90 degrees. We have a breeze. There's good cloud coverage. Yeah. But if we went out there and the sun was out, it was hot.
Definitely. I know I always talk about Phoenix being hot, but Denver definitely is up there as well.
There's also the altitude. I went for a jog today. That was, I forgot I was in Denver. I'm getting some information here. Oh, we're going to look at the past champions or past history of these games. Well, let me see. It's like Mexico getting the better half of it. I see a lot of Mexico. Our producer, Joe Rodriguez, putting this to ruffle my feathers. But there are some important games that the USA won. The biggest game, the World Cup in 2002 in the round of 16. The game that I called in the 2007 Gold Cup with Benny Feilhaber. The Copa America victory back in the mid-90s. But Mexico, we heard about 2-0, but that's changing. Mexico has really got this rivalry by the scruff of the neck. They've been the better team.
No, definitely. Since 2013, the U.S. has not beat Mexico in an official competition. So this is a competition that the U.S. wants to get back into, make sure they take the first step forward to win it. And both of the teams have said, you know what, we want to win this trophy. So the U.S. needs to come out and, break the streak that's going on. It's almost 10 years since an official win. So hopefully we're able to see it today from both teams. Great effort and see what happens.
If you are in Denver, come to Raices Brewery. You can walk right up here. And you can scream into this microphone if you'd like. We're welcoming that. Who do you think the more pressure is on here today? Because I've heard a whole sort of thing. I've engaged U.S. soccer fans on Twitter, and they're hot. They're angry at Greg Berhalter. They were so much bad energy, for lack of a better expression, after the victory over Honduras. And I'm trying to explain it to people. These are players that have come back from a long European season. This is a competition that's happening the first time. So many are coming from Europe to Denver. There's no time off, and they're playing together for the first time. But then you have Mexico, which I think some people would say the pressure's off a little bit more. But there's always pressure in this rivalry. But how would you gauge it if there's 100%? Who has the majority of that percentage on them?
The thing we have to realize as well is that the U.S. team is very young. Like you're saying, they're coming off a long European season, and there's nothing that can prepare someone to play against CONCACAF teams. When you get in front of an Honduras, a Panama, a Costa Rica, it's always a tough task no matter who you are. And so, as far as to answer your question, I think Mexico's a little better prepared for this game just because of the more experienced side, but the U.S. has the firepower. They have a Gio Reyna, a Pulisic, a McKennie, and so these guys are no joke. They're playing for the top teams in Europe, and they're going to be ready.
CBS Sports is covering it. Roger Gonzalez, who we don't really see a lot. It's not a saturated news cycle around this game, which you would normally see. But Roger Gonzalez, who works for CBS Sports, did have a report that the United States and Greg Berhalter was going to do a radical formation here, a change from the 3-4-3 that you would normally see. Maybe something like a 3-5-2 to have those two wingbacks up there, to have Serginho Dest, Reggie Canyon, or Anthony Robinson, and bring in another central defender. I don't know. That's a big shift. That's a big shift. But I think with the USA, you want to put your best 11 in there. And Jackson Ewell, Sebastian Lletget, heavily criticized. I think it was unfounded for the most part. Were they great on Thursday? No. They were okay. But there was a lot of guys that had bad games. Zach Steffen. I would say Weston McKennie had maybe his worst game that we have seen in a long time for the United States. So there's a lot of situations here, but you know the core team. You know Christian Pulisic. You know you're going to have Gio Reyna. Find the best 11. But if they bring in 3 defenders, 3 center backs, that means probably Matt Miazga or Tim Ream. Those guys are not in your best 11. But maybe for this game, it'll help them stay in touch with Mexico, because Mexico can turn on the Jets here. It could be a big scoreline.
No, we definitely saw it on Thursday with Chucky Lozano. As soon as he touched the ball, you saw the Costa Rican defender swarm him. Numerous times he got fouled, and I think that's what the U.S. wants to prevent. They don't want Chucky in an open break and be able to hurt the U.S. in those counters that they usually have.
It's a chess match out there, because that's what Tata Martino's doing. We can't let Christian Pulisic get into too many spaces. We know about the fullbacks underneath, where there will be space, but this new formation, and it's not finalized. This is just a report. Roger Gonzalez is probably embedded with the U.S. team, so he would know more than any of us. It could be a smokescreen. We've seen that before. It makes sense, though. And then the U.S. perspective is, how do they take advantage of Mexico? Because they have some advantages. And I looked at Andre Guardado against Costa Rica. They went after him because they started running at him, and he didn't have the wheels to do that. So there's mismatches on both sides.
Yeah. No, definitely. Andres Guardado is showing his age a little bit. You know, 34 years old, seasoned veteran, and I think it's going to be a battle of the midfield when it comes to the U.S. and Mexico. So the U.S. has to take advantage of that. Weston McKennie has to have a better game. I know he did give the assist for the U.S. against Honduras, but he did not have a great game. But honestly, when I talk about advantages for the U.S., it has to be Gio Reyna exploiting the sidelines and taking care of those Mexican defenders that Arteaga did not also have a great game. So if he can exploit that, Mexico could be in trouble.
It is a fascinating game, and we'll see now the upcoming schedule. This is just the beginning. So the U.S. played Switzerland, then they had the 2 games here in Denver, and then on June the 9th, Costa Rica, and that wraps up this window. Then the Gold Cup comes around in July, but it's going to be, from everything we have heard, a different squad that will go to the Gold Cup than the team that we see in the Nations League, which we believe will be the team that will become the World Cup qualifying squad. And Mexico will have a similar schedule. They'll be at the Gold Cup. They'll have a different roster. They have some more depth, certainly, that will do it. But I'm looking forward to the Gold Cup because there's some good young American players, Cade Cowell, Caden Clark, Gianluca Busio, that I hope getting that opportunity. It's a young players game. Yeah. USA, I think, commit to the youth movement now. They've done it with this team. It's the second youngest. The Thursday game was the second youngest U.S. team to play in a competitive match. If Yunus Musa came in, it would have been the youngest. And he might. So we might see the youngest team here today at some point. But they're going. There's no half measures. Don't say, hey, you need some experience there. Yeah. But you don't have as much time as you have, but you have a group that you can build with for the next year, 2 years, 4 years.
Yep.
What about Mexico? They have some young players, Diego Lainez, Chucky Lozano, Tecatito, those guys are getting a bit older. We mentioned Guardado. Hector Herrera is still the gold standard of that position. Yeah. But experience is definitely in their corner.
No, I think Diego Lainez has to come out and show what he's all about. He's been at Real Betis for a couple of years now. He did have some opportunities against Costa Rica. If he can just finish the play and get those goals, I think that's going to propel him into the next level. When it comes to youth, we also talk about Orbelin Pineda, who came into the game late against Costa Rica and made the world of difference. But if you want an Orbelin Pineda in the lineup, you also have to think about maybe taking an Andres Guardado. So that's when that chess match that you're talking about with Tata Martino, he has to move one piece to take out the other. And so Mexico has a lot of options on the table, and we'll see what happens.
You may see this wind that's blowing in. It feels great, but it's playing havoc on our equipment here. But we will muscle through. Great to see some of the comments. This is a show for you, so drop a note here. I got this up. Minala. Not seeing Pulisic, I just messed that up, step up in that leadership role like I would like him to. Saw video of the team where Berhalter was congratulating him about Champions win, and he shrunk away like a shy kid. He's he's pretty soft-spoken, but I wonder how that parlays into his play. There's a lot of soft-spoken players. Lionel Messi is a soft-spoken player, but they still have that mean streak. But I agree with you, Mianla, that I hope that Christian Pulisic, he has to be the leader. This is his team as long as he's healthy. All right, Ramon, let's look at Mexico's upcoming schedule. They have a couple more international friendlies. That Nigeria game, we're excited. That'll be in LA. And then the Gold Cup. They have a game to be determined, and then the Curaçao and El Salvador, and we hope a meeting with the USA in the final.
Yeah, no, Mexico has a busy summer. They got the Gold Cup to think about. They got the Summer Olympics as well. We have the under-23 team over there in Spain playing. They just beat Romania yesterday with the goal from Angulo, and so it's going to be definitely a busy summer. And again, this has to come down to what Tata Martino is looking for. Right after this summer, we got the World Cup qualifier, so now he has to really hammer down what team he wants based off that Olympic team and the team that he has right now, and see what the best team basically is, and make sure that Mexico is able to qualify.
That is it's amazing. Look, there's no mistake, Ramon. There's pressure on Tata Martino because the team hasn't looked great. They've gotten results, but they've shrunk a bit. They haven't scored goals. The Costa Rica game, to me, was an alarm bell. There's pressure on Tata Martino. No, he's going to see this cycle through, but I've heard people say that Mexico's not really going into this full bore. They'll be like, all right, it's the Nations League. I don't believe that for a second. If Mexico loses to the United States, that is not going to be good for Tata Martino. It's going to make his job a lot harder, and we know the Mexican press will come in hard. Yeah, no, he's mentioned a couple of times that sometimes he feels like the press is the one making things up, but based on the Costa Rica game, it's on the field. He made the change to go to the 5-3-2. That didn't really work out for him in the first half. The second half, he tried to do some adjustments, but then Costa Rica was already set up, and Mexico wasn't able to crack that defense. So there is some pressure on Tata Martino. The results haven't been there since Raul Jimenez went down, and so I'm not sure what Tata Martino has in store, but the Mexican fans and the Mexican media expect results. So we'll see what happens tonight. Aaron Davis, who I mentioned here, he had a good question. Who do you think brings the toughness factor with his U.S. team? Adams, McKinney, Brooks. Those three are the top candidates. Tyler Adams is that guy. I mean, he's not a big dude, but he likes to get in there. He likes to lead. He likes responsibility. Weston McKinney can be a physical guy as well, and John Brooks, we saw that in the semifinal. But Tyler Adams, and the news is that Greg Berhalter said he's 100% fit. That doesn't mean he slots in there, but there's a big hole for the U.S. that gets filled if Tyler Adams is good, because he's a guy who can link everything. And there was a big hole in the midfield against Honduras. So I hope I'd love to see him, but I only want to see him if he's 100% healthy or close to 100%. Yeah, definitely. There were some news this morning that he was going to be able to play. Now, should he start? I'm not too sure, but hopefully he's able to be at 100. Honestly, Max, I just want to see these teams go at each other with everything they got. This is what the fans want. This is what I want. And again, I want to see fireworks on the field. Yes, we do. And we want to see goals. USA won, Sano. Costa Rica, Mexico scoreless into penalties. How do we get some goals? The law of averages says we'll get some goals here, but from whom? And it is a very tightly contested game. All right, we got the money line. We know you love gambling. So what do we have? USA 185. All right, it's pretty close. You might get a good payback if there's a tie after 90 minutes, and then we'll go to penalties. Are you a gambling man? I have no idea. I watch Uncut Gems, and I don't want to gamble anymore, so ever again. I want to buy fine jewelry, but I don't want to gamble anymore. That would scare you off of it as well. But we know many of you like to sit and watch a game, and when you have a little money riding on it, it adds a little spice. I get it. So by all means, there are the odds. You have plenty of time. The game is still 2 hours plus away from being played. Historically, we talked about some of the games here. Oh, hold on a second. I'm getting some. We got the lineups? Got the lineups. Predicted lineups. Predicted. These are not the lineups. These are the predicted lineups. This is what I have. Based on the information that they're going to have three defenders, I think Miazga would come in. I still think it might be a 4-4-2 kind of with like a shifting Pulisic. You bring in Miazga, Tim Ream's another candidate, John Brooks, who was doing a lot of playmaking with his left foot. I think you want to keep him to sort of keep an eye on Serginho Dest because that's where it's open. But you want to take the pressure off Dest because he has to come back because he's bombing forward. You've got great fullbacks, so use them. And Reggie Cannon, I think, could be key in going after Guardado. Run at him, take him out of the game as best you can. And then I saw Pulisic come into the midfield, and I said Sibachu, but I still think Sargent probably starts. I was being a little cute with that lineup. But he scored the goal, so maybe there was a game Thursday, Sunday. You got to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
And Tyler Adams in there too.
Yeah, no, and no, but definitely this is a loaded squad that you have. I feel like that team will definitely cause some problems. And again, it's all the chess match, like you're saying. Tata Martino has to adjust. He knows that Greg Berhalter will be making some adjustments, so he has to do the same thing as well.
Lost my headpiece for a little bit, but there we go. Let's go. See, that's me looking for my cable that fell out. So once again, there are the drafts. We're at Raices. You can come here. We're literally half a mile away, less than that from the stadium. The stadium is fantastic.
You walk with the breeze. It's a beautiful walk as well.
By the way, that breeze is starting to get a little heavy, and it's starting to get gray out there. So there's a possibility that weather comes in. There's always tornado warnings here. We saw some serious lightning popping down here when we arrived this weekend. You've been here a little bit longer. You've been here for a long time. How's the weather look from?
The weather was great the first few days, but now that Mexico and the U.S. are about to clash, that's when the weather's turning a little bit for the worse. So.
Of course. Packed house here, families together. That's what we love to see. We were down at the stadium, families in their jerseys. This is the first step into a reintroduction of sports that's going to be very exciting for all of us because we love this sport and we love this rivalry, and we get the first one. I can't wait. I know when that game kicks off, people are going to be pumped. Definitely. People are going to be pumped. They're not going to be worried about the late kickoff or it being Sunday or it's being the Nations League and it's got no history. It's USA Mexico, and we'll see. I know we'll see it in the players.
No, definitely. In the first game, actually, the third place match is getting off to a good start. I think Costa Rica just scored as well.
Costa Rica have scored.
Yeah, so my prediction's probably not as well. So.
Oh, that's right. You went Honduras. I think Honduras had a couple good looks there.
Yeah, they'll come back.
We want to see Honduras and Costa Rica do well because these are teams that had been to World Cups. Costa Rica made the quarterfinals of a World Cup.
Yeah.
And this is a team that is on the back end of that generation. Not a lot of young players being introduced to the squad, but we like to see it. And they obviously are a tough out. Just ask Mexico, and they're playing again well here.
Yeah.
Honduras is doing well. Trinidad and Tobago out of World Cup qualifying, so we won't see them in the octagon. Welcome to the octagon. So we won't see them in that part of World Cup qualifying, but that'll be coming September. World Cup qualifying is going on everywhere except for here, South America, Concacaf.
Yeah, I think Salvador had like a 12-0 score or something like that. So, but yeah, we'll be seeing those teams later on.
Guatemala, I saw 7-8-0, but they'll join USA, Mexico, Honduras, Costa Rica, and who's the fifth? Is it
Jamaica?
Jamaica,
yeah.
Jamaica with a lot of those English players getting dual nationals to join them. That should be exciting.
Yeah.
I'd love to see Canada make it. They were thumping it. They also have the best player in the region, Alphonso Davies. We gotta get Concacaf. Some of those teams
even Curacao, as small as they are, they made some noise last World Cup, and they're coming up. So can't take anyone lightly.
So one thing about Concacaf in general and this game. The USA needs Mexico. This region needs Mexico. Mexico is the big dog. We get excited because we know how important it is in Mexico. We know that if we beat Mexico, I say we, that if we beat Mexico, it's going to make their life miserable. And everyone will be talking about it in Mexico because it's the #1 sport there. It's not the #1 sport here.
Yeah.
So we know how big it is for Mexico.
No, definitely. When Mexico plays the U.S., they need the result. This is expected. It's not something that Mexico should take lightly. If the U.S. loses, there'll probably be a few reels on some channels, some of the Sports Center channels, and so after that, they're going to forget about it. Mexico will hammer the Mexican team for as long as they can in order to make them feel bad about the loss if they do come across the U.S.
It's just not a two-man operation here. Ramon and I need some help, and we have Joe Rodriguez, the man who built El Tri Online. He is outside the stadium. Joe, how's it looking out there? What's the atmosphere like?
Thank you so much, guys. Outside of the stadium here, Joe Rodriguez with El Tri Online, and fans are starting to trickle right in to the stadium. As you can see, some of the fans are making their way. Very excited for yet another edition of the Mexico-U.S. rivalry. So we're expecting about maybe 60-70% fans in favor of Mexico. Typically, that's what you get in a normal game here in the United States, except for Columbus, of course. But the anticipation and the buildup is starting to finally come together. Yesterday, we were out here. It was a little bit on the dull side, but obviously, without fans, you don't get the same vibe that you're getting today. So we expect a lot of energy from the fans. Also, a very highly competitive match between both of these two squads. But we'll end up seeing maybe yet again another one of those chippy games like we've seen in the past. You know, are we going to see another one of those Lainez type moments? Who knows? For the meantime, I'm done, guys. I'll send it right back to you.
Joe's really excited. You see that? He is really pumped.
No, he's outside the stadium. The fans are pumped. I love it.
It's what it is, and it's going to build. Again, 42%, around 30,000 people will be inside the stadium here for USA Mexico. We were driving around. Not a lot of people thought it was going on. They thought it was over on Thursday. That was the Nations League. What do you think of the event? I mean, for a first event, I've seen the Nations League in Europe. It didn't, I mean, maybe because it's closer to home, but it didn't really have this impact. It feels like a big, maybe because we haven't had these games in so long.
Yeah, definitely, and it's the first ever competition, so it's not something that carries weight, maybe like a Gold Cup or a World Cup qualifier. So it's the first time, again, we're coming out of a pandemic, and so this is the first time people are really coming out. So like you're saying, not a lot of people know about what's going on, and so I think, you know, if Denver's going to be a really good World Cup city, they got to amp it up a little bit more.
Or we'll start giving games up to Phoenix.
Should not have said that earlier.
All right, we're getting some good questions. Oh, we're going to go to the Mexico 11. You can take us through here.
All right.
What are you seeing here? And you have some arrows too. I like that.
No, I do a lot of that stuff.
I didn't know we were allowed to put arrows in.
All right, so definitely a goalkeeper. I think we got to give it to the man of the match for last game, Guillermo Ochoa. I think he's going to be part of that starting 11. In the back, we're going to have Moreno and Salcedo. Salcedo was just named the all-time 11 for some reason.
Wow.
I don't know when that happened.
Maybe both Salcedos. Both Carlos Salcedos were together.
And then on the left side, you have Arteaga. Now, he did not have a great game last game.
It was always going to be tough for him because he kind of came out of the blue to get that job. But.
Yeah, and so, again, he's young, but I know Martino wants to give him the opportunity. And then on the other side, we're going to have Gallardo. I think whether Martino and the Mexican teams like it or not, Gallardo has to be in there. There's no other option besides him. I don't trust Jorge Sanchez, so I think he's going to be great there. Now, in the middle, Guardado, Herrera, and then Edson Alvarez tucking in between Moreno and Salcedo to complete that defensive wall. Up top, Chucky Lozano. You can't forget about him. On the other side, I put Tecatito there, but I think he's dangerous.
Yeah, he hasn't been 100%. And they've obviously missed him.
Yeah, so definitely missing a lot of that creativity as well. So instead of Antuna, I'm gonna put Lainez in there and make sure that he, you know, is able to get his revenge on Miazga if he's able to get there.
Did you see that? We had that. The most famous recent image. The viral image of Matt Miazga showing Diego Lainez.
So what happened after? Edson Alvarez came through.
I was at that game. It was in Nashville, but it did come through. So Diego Lainez I like a lot, but he seems like the role has to be defined a little bit better. He runs, he gets into space, he's a smallish player. He has to execute a little bit more, and he's going to be able to take pressure off Martin. Or Pulido, whomever. But, you know, Mexico have a real problem. And it goes back to Raul Jimenez. I mean, if he was there, Mexico wins this game. And Mexico is a top 10, 15 team in the world. I really, truly believe that. But Raul Jimenez had that injury, and I don't think he's going to come back at anywhere close to maybe 170%, 60%. You don't knock your head like that and just come back.
No, and it's an unfortunate injury, and Mexico definitely does miss him, and that's why Tata Martino had to resolve to go to an Antuna and Lainez right-hand side, and so it didn't really work out. Jimenez is missed definitely by the Mexican offense. Everything ran through him. You saw the goals come through when he was part of the selección, and now that he's recovering from that injury, I agree with you, Max. I don't think he's coming back 100%. I think he's going to be wearing the Peter Cech style kind of head protective gear, and hopefully that's able to bring him in a little bit closer to 100.
Well, we have some good questions here. Lily's saying, if USA lose, will they suffer the wrath of Taylor Twellman.
What are we doing?
What are we doing? By the way, if you haven't checked out the Soccer OG podcast, check it out. Where all podcasts are available, the Soccer OG. I'm going to have Taylor Twellman on next week. We're going to do a Euro preview. We'll talk about this game a little bit as well. This from Nick. Great job with the pregame, guys. Hey, that's us.
Thank you.
Thoughts on benching Sargent, or do we stick with him here? That's a bit of a dilemma. And you know, Daryl Dike, I think, is the guy I would like to see that, but he's not here. I think he's injured because he didn't play in the game against Switzerland either. Jordan Sibachu comes in and scores the goal. You think that would do it. He's a little bit taller, better of a target. Sargent does a lot of things, and I think if they do a reformation, they want to keep Sargent in there, and they don't want to hurt his confidence because his confidence is pretty low. I put Sibachu in there. Look, you can't handle this like they're children. They're men now, and this is a big game. So you put your hottest hand. But Sargent cleared that ball off his line, and to be honest, Nick, I think Berhalter likes him a lot, and he's this close to scoring. But we say that every time. You got to score, though.
Yeah. No, and we even saw Gio Reyna. You know, he was cutting up the Honduras defense like Swiss cheese. He was going through them. He just missed the goal. And I think Sargent should remain up top. He was a big factor, definitely getting that Honduran goal out, you know, and not letting them score. And he was a big factor. So I'd like to see him in there as well.
USA-Mexico coming up here. Denver, Colorado, Mile High City. This city looks fantastic. You got mountains here. Do you have mountains in Phoenix? No mountains.
We have Camelback Mountain.
Camelback Mountain.
Shout out.
Everyone loves Phoenix. As I was told here, because of the Super Bowl's there every 3 or 4 years, and they continue, so we'll see that, Ramon. But this Mexico team, we'll go back and talk about them a little bit more. The 11 looks really strong. Gallardo is in there. I'm less than convinced. He had a really bad play, and it's just one play, but it led to the Iceland goal, where he just fell asleep and let him go through there. So I'm looking for places where the USA could exploit it. Do you think that's a spot? I look at Guardado, maybe Reggie Cannon bearing down there, but maybe some spot behind that left defensive area, because that's where Iceland scored, and I think Costa Rica had a little success there too.
Yeah, I think the wings is something that the U.S. has to exploit, and I think that's why Edson Alvarez is going to drop down a little bit to help the Mexican defense in order to shore up those crosses, or you know, those when they try to dribble through the inside. So again, Arteaga and Gallardo are kind of like the weak spots that I'm looking at, and hopefully, you know, the U.S. is able to exploit that and see if they can get some results out of that.
Are we giving some stuff away here? I was told. If you're here in Denver and you want to go in Raices, you want to be here first. They have a great selection. They create their own beer. We all love that. Who doesn't love a brewery? Like he goes, Ramon, what do you want to drink? He goes, I'll have a beer. I go, well, we're going to do the show first. He goes, oh, I'll have a seltzer water. We're going to have a beer later. Come over here and have a beer with us. We'll talk football. We'll talk about what is going on moving forward with these two teams. The storylines, I think we've covered them pretty thoroughly. Obviously, the chant is going to be a big one coming in. Officiating, we shall see. Organizational-wise, again, this is coming out of a pandemic, but I think Denver's going to be a big winner out of this, showing they can do it, showing they can create interest. Easy place for the fan bases to travel to, big hub. Yeah. We're West Coast guys. We like having I'm here because it was in Denver. If they're playing this in Washington, D.C., I'd probably say, thanks, I'm going to skip this one. I'll watch it at home. But I'm here because of that. So I think Denver's a big winner. And whoever can win this, I really, truly believe, I've said this before, this is the Nations League. It's not World Cup qualifying. It's not even the Gold Cup. It's the Nations League. It's the first time. It's kind of a made-up tournament. I don't want to diffuse the excitement. However, it's here, and it's USA-Mexico for the first time in 2 years. And now you have a situation where you can get a victory over your rival, and you can sit on it for a few months and build it. For the U.S. perspective, Ramon, too, you want to engage the public. The masses who don't follow soccer are not paying attention yet. You ask them about U.S. men's national team, they go, yeah, they didn't make the World Cup. That was 4 years ago. And now there's this young, exciting group of players that they could lean into. Yeah. And results help drive that home. And they have a shout of it here tonight.
No, definitely. America loves a winner. You know, when people watch the team, you know, and they can get behind them because they're getting those victories and those trophies, I think that's something that the American fan wants. And we had a comment from our Uber driver. He says, I know all about the women's game, but the men's game, I'm a little lost on it.
Joe, our friend Joe came back, is riling up the crowd.
We're going to be giving away some gear now. Our good friend Max Bretos is going to be giving away a grand prize, a U.S. men's national team jersey.
What?
So go ahead.
It's this shirt on my back right here.
Right now online, use the hashtag ETO Nations League. So
They're giving away free stuff, but I think if it's good if they have the win. I was trying to rally up the fans too.
Show online right now, either online or Max Bretos. So make sure.
I'm just listening to him talk.
Thank you all for attending. Viva Mexico and Viva USA! Thank you, everybody.
He just said Viva Mexico and Viva USA.
Joe,
you can't play both ends.
Yeah, you can't pander to both. You can't do that. You gotta pick one. No, I'm just kidding.
And I apparently have to give away a jersey here at some point.
No, great time here at Raices. Shout out to all the people that are in the comments watching us, giving those likes. If you haven't shared, if you haven't liked it, go ahead and give us that like. It really helps out to distribute this channel, and it's amazing here. And shout out to Raices for hosting us. Amazing bars. If you guys are in Denver, Colorado, definitely come through. All right.
My thing keeps coming out. So we'll probably have some guests here as well.
The legendary.
Over under on how many stretcher team trips to the field is 2.5. Do you remember the stretcher teams?
What happened with, there was like some stretcher girls, right?
In the Honduras game, there was like 6 stoppages, lengthy. Second half was terrible. Felt like the stretcher, but it was like 4 teenage girls come out, and then it was like 4 teenage boys from Denver,
250-pound Honduran player, and they're trying to pick him up.
I would like to say something about, first of all, Memo Ochoa gets involved in this too.
Uh-oh.
The USA were very nice. When these Honduran players were down and injured, they had, and the US guy, I saw one American player put the strap on the stretcher like he was putting on a seatbelt. I go, don't do that. You got to take these guys to task. That was obviously gamesmanship, which they are allowed to do. If it goes to penalties, if Memo Ochoa was a real rascal against Costa Rica. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He would come up and whisper in the guy's ear. He would bounce around. He would never be set. I go, no. That does not fly.
No?
Someone from the U.S. has got to go, you walk up to my player again, it's going to be problems. Memo Ochoa is the best at that, but it gives him an edge. The USA have got to make sure they don't give Mexico the edge. They're nice guys. They can't be nice guys here today.
No, definitely. I think I love that about Memo Ochoa. Joe and myself had a conversation where are the leaders of the U.S. national, the men's national team from Mexico? And Memo Ochoa stepped up when there was that scuffle in the midfield with Moreno. That's when Ochoa, he ran all the way down to defend his teammate, and as well during penalties, you can see him hovering over the Costa Rican players, intimidating them, and ultimately getting the result. And that's what you want.
Memo Ochoa, do you think he still should be the #1? There's some young keepers there that probably would like a shot, Talavera and the likes, but it's hard for Memo. Memo Ochoa's been there forever.
Yeah.
He still looks like he's 25.
No, he definitely
looks like great hair.
No, Mexico. The thing about Mexico is that they have an amazing array of goalkeepers. We just saw it in the last tournament with Acevedo. He's a young Mexican contending goalkeeper, and so that's one of the the things that are coming down the pipeline. But usually the men's national team from Mexico likes to keep their goalkeepers until their 40s for some reason. For example,
it's good living for someone who's in their 40s. I approve of that. Thank you.
No ageism,
for us
but
old guys.
We saw it at the World Cup with Conejo Perez. I don't know if you remember that. He got the start over Ochoa.
El Conejo Perez.
Yeah. So.
He's a coach at Cruz Azul now, right?
He finally got his trophy. Yeah.
Good for Conejo. Great keeper who played forever, and he was an undersized guy. On the other side, the United States have Zach Steffen, and I was critical, and I got a lot of pushback because I said, look, if you are going to be the starting goalkeeper for the U.S. men's national team, you've got to be playing week in, week out. He doesn't. He's the backup at Manchester City, arguably the best club in the world, and although they lost to Chelsea. Well, we saw it. He was a little shaky in the first half. He came up with some big saves later on. The backup goalkeeper, Ethan Horvath, also has the same situation. I was looking around the world of teams that are national teams that have goalies that don't start for their club. Sweden has that kind of situation, but it's a very short list. You don't want to have that, and I think if Zach Steffen is going to be a long-term, and he's going to be our #1, he has to have games because it's going to stay shaky. And if it did go to penalties, I would be stunned if the USA won in penalties because of what we said with Memo Ochoa.
Yeah.
And because Zach Steffen hasn't had those big moments. Even at Man City when he played, they're so good and they have the ball the whole time. He's kind of sitting there going,
he doesn't have to work.
He's like, yeah, all right. It's not, it's not getting thrown into the deep end of the pool.
Yeah, you could see that he was nervous in some of the times that the Honduran team had a cross, missed some when they came out to get the ball, and so you could definitely see it. Memo Ochoa used to have the same problem when he was in Europe. He didn't play for long spells. When he would come back to Mexico, he'd be a little bit rusty. He doesn't have that game rhythm, and you could see the same thing with Zach Steffen.
We're going to ask for a special guest to join us, and if you're on El3 Online, for those who are joining us from the Soccer OG, check out El3 Online. First-rate, professional, polished production covering the El3, covering Liga MX. Check it out. Great stuff on YouTube, El3 Online. And if you're on El3 Online, check out the Soccer OG. I've been thrilled about what this new outlet. I know I'm an old dog in this, and I've worked everywhere. But doing YouTube and being able to put your impression and basically your editorial prowess has worked out some new muscles. And I get to work with good hosts like Ramon here and Joe Rodriguez. Super Mojado, the man of mystery from El3 Online is on the phone. Super.
What's up, guys? Super's in the house now.
Why aren't you here, Super?
Can you hear me?
Yes, why aren't you here?
I had a little trouble at the border in La Frontera, so I couldn't make it.
I told you not to go through Calimex. You come up here, I don't know anything about. Well, I hope that's not the case. But Super Mojado, we miss you. What do you think is going to happen tonight?
Man, I think it's gonna be a tough game. I think it's very close. I really hope though that they don't play the way they did in the last game, both of the teams, because it was boring, man. I don't know. I didn't enjoy those two games at all.
That's the key. Do you have a question for Super Mojado?
Super, if you can hear me. Yeah, who do you want up top tonight? We have I've heard some fans that want Chucky Lozano to start at number 9, Henry Martin or Pulido. What do you want to see from El3 tonight?
Or Super Mojado?
Yes, it's too bad I'm not there, because I would have put in the La Nueve ahí and show them what really 9 with it has to be, you know.
Are you?
No, I want to see Pulido maybe. Pulido, I think is he's having a really good tournament, and you know Henry, I don't know, he's a tough player and he very physical, but I think Pulido has the el gol.
Super, are you wearing your mask?
Of course, always, never take it off.
That's not true. Super. Thanks for joining us. Enjoy the game. Hopefully they can entertain you. That's really what we're here about. We want to entertain Super Mojado. So enjoy the game.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you.
Medi Castro writing here. I'm not really expecting the USA to beat Mexico. The U.S. team is very young, and the Mexican team is more experienced today. 2-3 years' time is a different ballgame. I would agree with the experience factor. And look, if the USA loses, expectations of people said beat Honduras, play Mexico, and that's a good weekend. You want to beat Mexico, but realistically, they could beat this Mexico team. This Mexico team has flaws. The USA has flaws. Both these teams are still a long way from the finished product that we expect to see in September. But this has already been a good week, unless the U.S. get caned in that final, which is possible but unlikely.
No, definitely. This is a game to kind of match up and see what everybody is all about. Again, this is the Nations League. It doesn't really matter for too much, but I know both of these coaches are going to be taking this experience from this game and using it in September for those World Cup qualifiers. And I think they're even able to play around 4 to 5 games, coming up if they, face each other in the Gold Cup. So we'll see what happens.
I'm having fun with my headset. I hope you guys don't mind. Great questions here. Chase Athletics, I think you just mentioned this. I think coaching will make the difference. Might have to go with Tata for the W. Greg Berhalter's been getting a lot of criticism, and tactically, it's hard to defend him with what he's trying. I mean, I watched the game a second time. The criticisms were for Sebastian Lletget, Jackson Yueill. Jackson Yueill, when I watched the second time, Honduras try to have a guy on him and take him out of that play, and it worked. That's not Jackson Yueill's fault. You need a little help in the midfield. Sebastian Lletget was moving upfield and was almost like another attacker. So they need some presence there, and I hope Tyler Adams could do that. But that's, if there's big spaces there and there's no adjustment, that's on the coach. So Tata Martino has done it all, coached Barcelona. To me, the best thing, he won a championship with Atlanta United in Major League Soccer, and his crowning achievement in my My humble opinion was taking Paraguay to the quarterfinals of the 2010 World Cup, where they should have beaten Spain. They had Spain on the ropes. Spain went on to win it, but can you imagine how different? Tata Martino is a Rolls Royce in coaching. So there's a definite edge there. Do you think that's something we'll see tactically, where we could go at the end and go, uh-oh, there was a mistake there. There was a mistake. That's where Mexico took advantage.
Yeah, I think the battle will be the midfield. Does Tata Martino have the guts to take out the Capitan Guardado? You saw the age that, his legs are probably getting up there. As far as the speed, and he's no longer that 2014 Guardado that Wijnaldum was saying, I couldn't keep up with the guy during the match in the Netherlands. So does Tata Martino take him out, put someone in for more creativity or more speed in order to shore up, what the U.S. will give for Mexico?
Tata said the three players that he obviously has to keep an eye on was Pulisic, McKennie, and Dest. Those are the three names he said. Obviously he has to keep an eye, but remember, this is a U.S. team in the semifinal, didn't play at pace. I think they want to play at pace. They have the game under their belt. They've been able to acclimate. These are top athletes, so 5,000 feet altitude is something they can handle, but it still takes some getting used to, and they've been able to do it. I've already talked about my run today. It was very hard. I was like, man, why do I feel, am I this out of shape? No, you're in Denver, dum-dum.
I mean, you go up the hills next to the stadium, you're feeling it,
yeah. So I think that'll help, but I think USA wants to play at pace, and in order to do that, you have to have your faster players. That's why I do believe, even though I defend Sebastian Lletget and I defend Jackson Ewell, I don't think if Tyler Adams is healthy, we'll see either one of those guys in the starting 11. Maybe Sebastian Lletget off the bench, but if Ewell doesn't start, he probably won't play in this game.
So, Max, I have a few questions here, or comments from our Facebook. Shout out to everybody in the comments on Facebook, El Trio Online. Thank you for your comments and your likes. So, we have Andy Diosa saying, Super wants Chicharito.
Chicharito.
So, let me ask you, Max.
Andy Diosa listening in. Good man. Colombiano.
Does Chicha deserve to be part of this Mexican national team squad? Should he be here today instead of posting things on his Instagram account about the Galaxy?
I think he deserves it, but things weren't going great with him and Tata and the Mexican national team. You got to ease back into it. Maybe the Gold Cup's a good place to get reintroduced. Keep going. If Chicharito scores the way he's scoring and he keeps the Galaxy in those top positions, he's gonna. If he wants to be on this squad, and there's a hole in that squad, he's going to be on here, and the pressure will mount. But he has to massage it as well with that.
Yeah.
Say the right things. If you want to play for the national team, tell him. I want to play. I don't know what those conversations are like, but I'm sure if you're earnest with the coach, they will respect that.
I just find it interesting, and great points with that, Max, that I don't see this in a lot of national teams where the players, for some reason, have either external problems with the federation that they represent or something with the coach, and they do not want to play for the Mexican national team. Whether it's Chicharito having issues with Tata and the federation, or Carlos Vela, deciding to watch the Lakers instead of wanting to play for La Selección. What's going on with these players that they don't want to represent their country?
Playing for your country is a pain in the butt, man. Look, like I said, I mean, these players are superhuman. They just finished a 9-month season, and then instead of kicking back and relax, I'm just talking about the U.S. and Mexico too. Hector Herrera was grinding it out to win his title for Atletico. Instead of having 2 weeks in Marbella with the familia,
he's got to come to Denver.
You got to come to Denver for another 2 weeks. This is hard work. And if you get older, look, I get older, like Gareth Bale when he was at Real Madrid. He should go back to Real Madrid. He's making tons of money. He lives in Madrid. We wanted to go back to Spurs. He's making tons of money. He has his family in Madrid, and he's playing golf. And he's like, I like this. When you're happy, you're happy. So if you found happiness, don't go to the national team. It's not some people love it. They want to play all the time.
Yeah.
Diego Simeone, perfect example. Always wanted to play national team, as much as he could. But it's not for everyone. Not for 10 years. Everyone wants to play at a World Cup.
Yeah.
But it's a commitment.
No, definitely, and I think that's something that I think we forget about, that these players are human. Chicharito did have his struggles last year as well, and he mentioned it about his mental health and his family problems, and I think that's what we forget. So hopefully we can see him in the Selección. The only reason I'm asking is because I miss him a lot, especially when we're struggling, and I know we need those people in order to get results on the field.
Look, he does one thing. He scores goals.
That's it.
That's what this team needs. Good questions coming. Colin Reese. Colin's been a wonderful supporter of all the stuff I do, and he goes, "Where's the shout out for inventing your nickname, the Soccer OG?" Is that accurate, Colin? Because like 3 other people are claiming it. I don't. If it was you and I heard it, I appreciate it. I love it. It's starting to get catchy and make some inroads. Brennan Daly, can we get Musa into the lineup? Yunus Musa, another big. And Yunus Musa is a guy, just doesn't quite fit where they need him. He's a number 8. They have Weston McKennie. Sebastian Leget's on the pecking order. I just want to remind people that Yunus Musa, as good as he is, he's 19, and he didn't play a lot for his club down the stretch, Valencia. This is a guy for the future. I'd put him in there in small doses, but I'm not going bonkers to going through. What, did you win a shirt?
Just got the shirt, Max. Thank you.
What's your name?
Brad Christ.
Brad? Oh, that you here?
That's me.
Oh, wow. Do you see when it's on the back of that shirt?
I haven't seen it yet.
Take it out of the bag. Let's get him out of the bag. Here, come over here. Here we go. It's got that little, the fabric clean. You'll be wearing that?
I'll make it happen.
Yeah!
We'll make it work.
Man.
That's a good sport.
It's a nice shirt. It's got a nice soft cotton. That's what it's all about. We're making people happy at Raices.
Look at that. He's here commenting, getting you questions. That's great.
If you want a Mexico is the blank shirt, we can sort it out for you. We'll have more stuff coming on. Yunus Musa, what do you think? Haven't you seen enough of him?
I mean, I've heard a little of him. I know he plays for Valencia in Spain, but like you're saying, small doses. He's 19, very young team. I think the purpose of this Nations League is just to see how these guys that are established come up and see what else is stored in the future. But here's the thing about the U.S., and that's the thing that scares me. They are loaded. Well, if you don't have a Pulisic or a Gio Reyna, you have a Musa coming down the line, which again is an X factor. So the U.S. is getting loaded with players, and again, as a Mexican fan through and through, it scares me because most of the time our Mexican players do not want to go across the pond. They want to stay home, and maybe in a few years, 2026, the U.S. could be winning their World Cup in their own soil.
You think having to play in Europe is important? Because USA didn't have it. We used to have Clint Dempsey here, Brian McBride, DeMarcus Beasley. Not a lot of guys in Europe, but now we have guys at Chelsea, Juventus, Barcelona, Valencia, Bayern Munich, all over the Bundesliga. It used to be Mexico used to be the team with all of them, and that's kind of pulled back a bit. You have like 7 or 8 guys. It's good money. We should say life in Liga MX is pretty good for Mexican players.
No, and then that's the thing, if you don't know, that Liga MX plays very well. So
I like what you did this.
So if you're a Mexican player that's making a lot of money, why would you want to go to Europe, probably take a pay cut, a very big pay cut, and not be guaranteed any playing time? And so the thing about the U.S. is that every week I hear an academy player from the Red Bulls, from Houston, the Dynamo, and they're going to Juventus, they're going to Barcelona, they're going to like these academies across the pond, and eventually those are going to sprout and they're going to become superstars. And that's the thing that the U.S. has going for them, that they have a lot of people down the pipeline.
And these clubs know they come here to get them, and that's MLS. MLS. I don't know why it gets sand kicked in its face all the time, but they took over the scouting in these academies, and they're producing players. Justin Shea, the latest, who's headed to Bayern Munich, who was part of this national team call-up. It's very exciting what's happening there. Is there some guys for El Tri that you wish were here? You mentioned Chicharito, JJ Macias, some of the Liga MX guys, Alvarado, who played for Cruz Azul.
Yeah, no, I think Tata picked who he wanted to be here. The under-23 team did struggle a little bit with Romania, but JJ Macias, I think he's just, I don't know, I think his head was just not there this season. He struggled a lot with Chivas. I think he was just already thinking about going to Borussia if that's where he was going. But no, I think Tata wanted the guys that were young here, Charlie Rodriguez, Sebastian Cordova. Those are the guys that are kind of, they're not young, they're 23, 24, but that's the kind of like the next generation for Mexico right now.
Yeah, a little bit more seasoned than the U.S. guys. Cordova I like a lot. Charlie Rodriguez I like a lot. Didn't do well in recent games.
Yeah.
So there's something that has to be built on here for these guys here in the not too distant future. Oh, here we go. Brad Christ, he was here, his name came up, and he got a t-shirt. So if you're here, Dan W. Is that Dan Weiner by chance? Who's center back pairing? Does Miaga come in for this one? Earlier on our preview,
We went with the story that was broken by Roger Gonzalez of CBS Sports that Greg Berhalter is considering a back three with wing backs, so a back five essentially, even though whoever's playing fullback are going to be moving forward the majority of the time. If they go to that back three, I think it's going to be Miazga. I think it'll be Miazga coming in with John Brooks.
I think you want to see. I think you want to see a little spark if Linez comes up top. So
that's a story that writes itself. And that video, I mean, I used it. I have used it for YouTube. It's just a great photo. It's a great image. How confident are you? Let's spin forward Mexico now, and Mexico say November 2022, heading to the World Cup, which they will, just like the U.S. How do you see them? Is it a group that you think has the potential to get over the hump, el quinto partido, get to a quarterfinals?
You want me to be perfectly honest? I do not think so.
Wow, I like perfectly honest answers. I don't think so either.
I think they're going to get out of the group like they always do, but they just need some sort of X factor. They need the team to be together, to be ready to roll. You know, we hear these stories about the 2018 World Cup where the Mexican team was in their locker room right before facing Brazil. Again, and with the chance to break the curse, a curse that's been there, you know, since I was probably I wasn't even born, you know, since '86. And the Mexican team, they were described as shaky legs, nervous, anxious. And when they got out to the field against Brazil, they were not able to perform. So what happens? What happens when the group stage is over and the Mexican team gets down to the knockout rounds and they just disappear? Everything that happens with them, and this isn't just about this generation. This happened to Cuauhtémoc Blanco, Luis Hernandez, all those guys that weren't able to get over the hump. So are the Mexican team players ready to basically perform during when the bright lights come on?
The pressure will be on either way, but
yeah.
Just looking at this group, the Raul Jimenez obviously was a big hit. We're talking about 18 months away from now, 17 months, and others will be coming up. Is there some young Mexican players that you think could develop there? I mean, who's the guy who was at Mallorca, but he doesn't play anymore? He's 15 years old.
Oh, Luca. No, but I think he said he's from Argentina now.
He looks like he's from
Mexican
Messi.
There's a guy from Arsenal. I forget his name, but he's performing. He's 17. But these guys you won't see at the World Cup in 2022. So, but I don't know. Charlie Rodriguez, I thought after that performance against Liverpool and during the Club World Cup, he was ready to make that next step up, but didn't really see it this year. So we'll see.
Marcelo Flores,
there you go, from Arsenal.
What is going on in these comment sections? There's like a romance developing here. What's going on?
Maria's saying something.
She says, "Hi, Daddy. Are you guys going on a date?" I'm glad to facilitate that, but we're talking football here.
Matchmaker Max.
Matchmaker. And that's why he goes, Max Tinder Bretos. That's not what it's here for. But you guys can get offline, arrange something, and just keep it clean.
Be safe.
Be safe. USA Mexico, we're here at Raices Brewery, a fine partner. First class, let us come in here and set this all up. USA and Mexico fans here in large numbers, mostly here, and they'll make their way. We're still a couple hours away, about an hour and a half away from the kickoff of Mark 1, USA Mexico 2021. I'm getting a little nervous now. Feel it.
You feeling it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an hour and a half from kickoff.
An hour and a half.
Now we'll see. I hope for a lot of goals, honestly. I think the fans deserve it. Like you're saying, we only got one goal on Thursday. We're getting one today, so hopefully we can get more than one, definitely.
Chris is going 3-4-3 for U.S. Miazga, Brooks, McKenzie. Could be, but it'd be more like a 3-5-2. Would they play with two guys in the front? I feel like Pulisic and Reyna did a lot of heavy lifting. I mean, he came back and he made these long runs. He was great. But Pulisic, I think there was a stat that he had the second least amount of touches of any U.S. player after those 90 minutes. You can't have that.
No.
You got to have a guy who is involved. Again, he just came off a very demanding schedule. I think he'll have a lift, but he played the whole game. He went 97 minutes, and then he was replaced very, very late in the game. But he went the whole distance. You got to find a way to get him some touches. That's why it's such a fascinating game. How do you get Chucky involved? How do you get Pulisic involved? Yeah. Both teams are struggling with their number 9s, but they have these incredible talents right alongside them. How do those guys become offensive threats? Whoever has the answer to that is maybe the winner of this game. It's that simple, maybe.
Yeah. No, and I think those two will be the X factors. If Pulisic is ever able to cut in, be creative, give some passes off to his teammates, there may be some chances there. Same thing with Chucky. You can't leave Chucky alone, give him that open space. We saw what happened with Costa Rica. The only way that you could stop Chucky was by fouling him, and that's why he got so frustrated, because he got kicked over and over again, and the ref kind of just, kind of shrugged his shoulders like that's what's going to happen to you. But definitely Chucky is the X factor, Pulisic as well, and I expect some things from Gio Reyna as well.
It's a physical game too with those guys.
I think so as well.
Which means set pieces. Remember that Sebastian Lletget took them for the U.S. He's the best option in that category for the U.S. According to Greg Berhalter, who could be another option? Reyna, Pulisic. Pulisic has hit some good free kicks. We've seen that with Chelsea, but he's more of a open field, in the flow play. Oh yeah, we got. Where is that? Sombrero looks good. Look at that. There she is.
Let me see the sombrero.
Everyone needs a good sombrero. She's not looking over. I tried.
I think she's looking. She's looking, yeah. She's seeing it. She's seeing it. There
Yes! Yes!
Eso,
Look at that.
eso. There
Now
we
we're
go.
talking.
Now we know who Max is rooting for.
Now we're
There we
talking. I
go.
just sold my soul to the devil. It was perfect because you can see the hat.
Whoever's in the comment, we need you to roast him.
What's your name?
Ali.
Ali, you're obviously cheering for the U.S. here with the sombrero.
Obviously, yes. Yes,
But you have a
definitely.
little thing for the sombrero here.
There we go.
All right. Well, thank you very much. I get to keep this? No. I love wearing it. Oh, here. We're going to give Ali a shirt. Here you go.
Thank you so much.
An Isha's shirt. Enjoy it.
Woo!
Thank you for making our show. It's our L3 Online Soccer OG. We're live right now. If you have your phone, you can go on there right now and see it.
Thank you.
We've made her evening. She made our evening.
I think you look great.
I felt good.
I think you need it back.
Maybe I should just wear it permanently. What's up? Me, Speedos on the beach with the sombrero.
I can't kill him. Joe doesn't want that.
Okay, let's go back here. Some predictions. USA 2-0. Esteban goes Mexico 2-0. Kevin, help me out here with the time. 9 p.m. Eastern times to kick off. CBS Sports Network, Paramount Plus if you want to stream it. And TUDN. We're currently showing Costa Rica, Honduras. You're here with us. We really appreciate you. I just want to say to Ramon and Joe Rodriguez and everyone, super. What a great job, L3 Online. It's been a thrill. I reached out to Joe. He said he was here. I go, could I come down here? I want to work. I want to be part of it. And he allowed that. So L3 Online, first class. They're going places. So is this young man here.
Thank you.
Because he does the on-air work, but then he's lugging equipment. He's getting the crowd riled up. He's giving stuff away. He does it all. That's what you want. Self-starter right here.
Appreciate it. The thing with Max, though, is that he always brings the party. So,
Yeah,
you just saw
Hey,
that
can I
right
get
now.
some water? My throat's. Give me a look. I'm parched here.
It's that Denver weather.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. And again, I want to shout out everybody in the comments. Thank you so much for showing us love. And again, like, share, and subscribe. I'm here with the OG, Max Bretos, showing me the ropes, and I really appreciate it. And clearly, from what I can see in the comments here in his computer, you guys are super into him. Keep asking questions. Let me know. And I think he's making matchmaker over here. So, no, amazing time. Thank you so much, Raices, for having us. And shout out to ETO as well. DDV over there in Phoenix, shout out. And, yeah, thank you for joining us.
Subscribe L3 Online. Subscribe to Soccer OG. The predictions coming in. Aaron, I think his head says 2-zip. Heart 2-1 U.S. Head prediction 2-zip Mexico. Oh yeah, there will be a party in my house if Mexico wins. Redondo Beach, party all night, BYOB. I'll be there probably sometime Monday morning. The party should be just getting started.
Well, that's with U.S. winning or
Mexico.
Either or. Yeah,
I'm pulling for Mexico now.
Okay, Mexico.
I'm pulling for Mexico. I love this rivalry. It's the best thing we have. And it's an instant gratification, instant excitement. Do we do
Definitely.
predictions? All right.
Time?
Ramon, what happens tonight?
Oh, man. Okay.
2-0.
No.
2-0.
Look, I want goals, so I'm going to go with 3-2, Mexico.
I'll take that too. I will take 3-2. I'm going to say 2-2. Mexico wins in penalties.
Ooh, Memo Ochoa coming in clutch.
And then we'll be talking about Zach Steffen. For better or worse, if he wins the penalty, if he loses, we're going, wait, what's going on with our goalkeeper
He
situation?
has to go on alone, get some playing time.
Yes. I said this to everyone on my Soccer OG. I go, we've got to be concerned about Zach Steffen. He's not playing games. He looked front. He's like shaking his head. There was a disconnect there. He made good saves, but you need to be locked in. There's a Man City mentality of when you play, you don't see a lot of action. Ederson almost becomes like a center back when he plays.
Basically, yeah.
So he keeps himself occupied. That's not the case with Zach. And when he plays the FA Cup final, or is it the Carabao Cup final, sorry, he made one save. You need more saves because this team, this USA team,
Yeah.
you're going to have to make more than one save.
Yeah, no, and I think even in Man City, they let the keeper that hadn't played in 10 years play a game before Zach Steffen. So we need him more. I would love to see Zach Steffen be a little more active in his team.
Emmanuel, everyone asked for the predictions. Reina from Fly High. Reina is much better on free kicks. To see if he gets some shots from the set pieces. I thought Leggett was pretty good on his corner kicks. People were giving him grief. The first two corner kicks against Honduras, he put one in wide open. Weston McKennie just couldn't quite hit it. Second one was that short ball to Serginho Dest. He curled around. Could have scored. Could have been 2-zip. Predictions, 3-2 Mexico, 2-2 Mexico in penalties. I think that's fair for me as a U.S. fan. I think it's going to be a tight, cagey affair, without question.
Yeah, no, definitely. I wouldn't be surprised if the U.S. took this game either, you know? Like I said, it could go either way. It's all going to come down to the man on the field, and we'll see how they perform tonight.
I was going to get these folks to do a big USA cheer, but they left. They left. All right. All right. We've covered most of the bases. What are you guys excited about? Drop us a note here. What do we do? How do we get people excited about this sport? What needs to happen? Because we're in an incubator. Soccer Twitter, we have our blinders on. We're one-dimensional. Am I here? Sorry, I'm trying to get the camera. Two shot? All right, here we go. Okay. We talking to ourselves. We sit there and we say the same thing. And we're having a conversation, but we don't include people because we don't want to include people. We've got to include people. Say, hey, we want you here. We got this young USA team. They're working their heart out. They're going off to Europe. They're leaving their families and their friends to pursue a dream. They need your help. 4 years was rock bottom. But these guys, not that anything U.S. Soccer did, not that anything we did, the fans, these guys on their own, collectively, became this generation. And now they're getting their first licks with this U.S. team. They are going to be a big deal moving forward. Sorry, Honduras scored. So stay right there. Don't change the channel. I'll give you everything that happened. But this is an opportunity because the next 5 years, the World Cup in 2022 will be there, hosting the 2026 World Cup. There is word that the Women's World Cup in 2027 may go to the United States. That is the spot where this sport springs forward or kind of just hangs around. I think it springs forward, but all these things have to fall into place. So if by chance you're not a soccer fan, and you know, I worked at ESPN, so I have a connection to non-soccer folks, and I try to get them excited. Give it a shot. If you're on here, give it a shot. We're excited about it. You're excited about it. Tell people, communicate with them in a way that would excite them. Let's open, let's be inclusive. That was my monologue. You were nodding, it was good, right?
It was good, I like it. I think you're definitely right.
I should be a politician. California governor.
He's
Not
going
yet,
for it.
not governor, no.
Not yet.
School board.
I think you're right. 1994 was a big stepping stone for the U.S. soccer. We definitely saw the growth with the MLS over 25 years now. And 2026 is the next big step. That's when it should explode. We saw it with the women's team in '99 when they won, and we can see it now. I believe 3 World Cups. That's how many they have?
The last, they're 3 or?
3 or 4.
They definitely won 3. Okay. And let me say, they're going to win the next World Cup, and they're going to win the Olympic gold medal, and they're going to win the next World Cup. Nobody's touching them. The U.S. team has gone, boop, nobody's near them.
But imagine the men's team if they did that, you know, with the resources that they have, with the amount of players that they have overseas. I think this is the perfect time for the U.S., and I'm not mad about that. I'm a Mexican fan through and through, but when we have the U.S. becoming better, Mexico has to step us as well. Iron sharpens iron, and that's when both of the teams will become players on the national stage. International stage.
Jamaica, we're pulling for you. Canada, pulling for you. Honduras. By the way, how great was that when Honduras scored? This whole place erupted.
No, it was great.
I mean, it's been a while since I've been in a bar. By the way, Denver a little bit lax with the COVID stuff, which I'm not complaining about, but
Just stating facts.
it's steady facts. They go, do you want to wear your mask? I go, not really. He goes, then take it off. I go, okay. But we're still as careful as we can. Get vaccinated if you haven't. It works. But that was a good feeling to hear that support. But Concacaf has an opportunity. In the 2010 World Cup, the 2014 World Cup, USA made the round of 16, lost to Belgium. Mexico should have beaten the Netherlands.
Yep.
Would have made the quarterfinals. And if they had done that, they would have faced Costa Rica, which meant a CONCACAF team would have been in the semifinals.
Yeah.
That's the gold standard for CONCACAF.
Yeah.
We can get there again, but we need development in other countries. We're seeing that in some places. What's happened at Trinidad and Tobago is a huge step back because that's a country that we need the standard raised. Places like Haiti, places like Curacao, as you said. There's enough place. El Salvador, why not? El Salvador has resources and the excitement there that we can get this going.
No, definitely. I remember those
the
small
high
teams.
tide raises all boats.
Yeah, no, I remember El Salvador. El Salvador. I remember Pescadito Ruiz. He used to scare me because I know he was a guy that you couldn't mess around with because he was going to score goals. So what happened to those people? And we need to help each other out. CONCACAF needs to rise up, like you're saying, and become a player in the world stage and make some noise. Not just the semifinals. We need to win this competition, the World Cup.
This U.S. team and L3 is big as is, but the U.S. team, as I said on the Soccer OG in the past, there's people in Europe who know these guys. There's kids in London with Christian Pulisic jerseys. There's kids in northern Italy with Weston McKennie jerseys. That is happening. They are in the bloodstream there. People, if the USA plays well, and Mexico, people from outside this region will tune in. The same way we'd watch a big South American game. I'm not comparing USA, Mexico to Brazil, Argentina, but if Brazil and Argentina's on, we're going to watch it.
Yeah.
If Germany's playing one of their rivals, if France is playing the Germans or the Dutch, you tune in because it's the big names, or England. It could be that way. It's a big fixture to see it because the players in place can make it. So we just can't screw it up. But we screwed it up so many times in the past.
No, we need to keep moving forward, and I think that's one of the things that makes this rivalry great is that over the past few years, during the 2000s, we had the U.S. dominating Mexico completely. 2010s, that's what Mexico said, you know what, we need to step up a little bit more. Now, what does the 2020s have in store for Mexico and USA? So we have to see that.
Chris says the only way to get the casual fans interested is winning, and that's why the women's team is so popular, because Americans love to see teams not only win, but wipe the floor with opponents, and the U.S. women do that better than anybody. I watch less of the women's game because of that. I want to see rivals develop, but the USA, it's like what's going to get. It's going to be a bloodbath. I don't see that changing anytime soon. Lily mentioned I attended the Germany-Bulgaria game at Giant Stadium in '94. Awesome atmosphere. That was one of my favorite World Cup games. Jürgen Klinsmann, Rudi Völler in a quarterfinal. The Bulgarians who beat Mexico in the round of 16. That could have been the quinto partido. Great World Cup. And we could do that again in 2016. So the predictions are in. Nick says we need superstars to elevate this game in America. We need a Jordan, an A-Rod, a Tiger. I think we'll get a few of this current crop. And there's more coming through, as we said.
Yeah.
And that's going to raise. In Mexico, they're paying attention. They're like, man, these Americans are all over Europe.
Yeah, no.
That was us.
Yeah, Pulisic is just the start. They have a lot more people down the pipeline. And yes, I think America does need that guy that when they see him, that's soccer. I don't think people see that right now in America with Pulisic. Maybe because they don't know who he is. They don't see him on TV all the time. Maybe the highlights don't come through. But once they get that, I think the popularity will skyrocket here.
There's new names coming up. Matthew Hoppe, who was at Schalke, he's going to get a new club. I think he could be a guy who could play center forward for the U.S. Chris Richards, hybrid defender, essentially could be a part of a back three, playing at Hoffenheim on the books at Bayern Munich. And Brendan Aronson, who's on this team, remember him, he blew the door. He went to Austria, which is a fine league. He went there and blew the doors off it. He's too good for the Austrian league. So expect to see him maybe go to the German league. Common sense would say it would be at Leipzig, where he could join American coach Jesse Marsch. The pieces are in place for a huge revival. Not a revival. This is the first time it's been this big. but more players. As you said, Pulisic is a starting point, but more guys. And there's guys, I don't even know their names. A 15-year-old kid in Flint, Michigan, or Winston-Salem, North Carolina could be the next one. He's there, and it's just a matter of time. Some of the European clubs are looking.
No, definitely. Even in Arizona, I always got to talk about Phoenix. They have the Barcelona Academy there. And you see these guys, these 15, 16, 17-year-old kids, they get plucked from those academies. They're shipped across to Europe.
Matthew Hoppe was one of those guys.
Yep, exactly. And so we're seeing that, but that scares me. And I got to bring it back to Mexico. Where are the Mexican talent? Why are we not hearing these stories? That's it because the media, the Mexican press isn't reporting on them, or are there not enough people going over there? So that's one thing I would like to see. We need to keep on par with the U.S. in order to be able to compete in the next 10 years.
Woo. Woo. I will say this, I enjoy a good beer, but there's nothing like a tall glass of lukewarm water to quench your thirst. I'm being dead serious. Fantastic. Was that? All right.
Few more comments.
Oh, a lot of people. Where were you? A lot of people joining us now, so we got to stay on the air. Where were you an hour ago? Come on.
We need some more water. We got Topo Chico.
Oh, could you get me a little more water? Look, he's like, yeah. No, like kind of soon.
No, producer does it all here.
Can I have some of your water here?
Yeah, go
hit
for
me,
it.
hit it.
Go for it.
We share here. Everybody, wherever you are, at home, I know you're drinking something. Lift your glass. More recently, or does anybody get Max a beer? Can we get me a beer?
See, I had the right idea early.
There's a big line, otherwise I'll get a beer. Wherever you are, Nick, everyone, toast to you. Where's your glass?
Salud. Yeah, I'll just clink with you with this.
Cheers. Lukewarm water, folks. It is the new IPA. Zach, Soccer OG is like your super fun drunk uncle at the barbecue. I like this dude. We got a new fan. Can I say something about covering? Soccer is the coolest sport in the world. It's the coolest sport in the world. The coolest people play it, the fashion, the jerseys, the boots. But in the United States, we don't treat it really cool. We're like a bunch of nerds, right? That's what we're a bunch of, I include myself. Not you.
No.
You're cool. I mean, look at this. Look at this strapper.
Little bit.
Wait, let's act cool. Let's talk about it. It's cool, man. This is where you want to be. I saw the NBA players always wearing Neymar shirts. Who are the coolest people in the world? NBA players.
Got that swag, that drip.
I'm tired of it. Let's treat it like a fun game. And let's argue. I'm sorry, I'm screaming. If you don't agree with someone, let's not be all nice. Like, we came on the air yesterday, and we weren't going to feed you a line saying, oh, this place is amazing. I go, no, it wasn't. There's nobody here. We didn't see anyone on the streets. We're not gonna lie to you. There's people here now. But straight shooting. We're not involved with a network. We don't have any hidden agendas. We're talking about the sport. And if it's a drunk uncle at the barbecue approach,
no BS sober with the OG.
No,
there you go.
And the OG, I just want to say, because I know I look like I'm 30. I'm not. I'm a lot older than I was. I'm pushing a certain age pretty soon that I will not share with you, but I'm young at heart. But I've seen everything.
All you need to know is that he wears New Balances. No?
I do not.
You get that? No? Okay.
I'm an Adidas guy.
No, he's great. He's
Tim
great.
Nikoloff, Adidas, thanks for the swag. What's your favorite beer for a soccer game?
I'm a Dos Equis guy. Any sort of lager, that's what I go to. They have a lager here. I think it's called a Mangarito, which is mango lager. So I don't know how these guys do it with the beer, but I got to try that after.
But you know what? If it's got mango in it, not a lot of alcohol.
Oh,
so you'll have to drink a lot to get drunk. We have some swag to give away. A shirt. If you're here at Raices and you want, give me one of those shirts.
Here, let's show it on there. If you're on Raices right now,
I agree because soccer. I think summertime, hot. You get the Mexican beer. You get Modelo, Victoria,
Negra Modelo.
Icy Cold Pacifico. You get the can, not the bottle. You get the can. You put it at the bottom of your cooler, right? This guy's like, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
He knows.
Are you drinking the mango beer? Okay, good?
He recommended it over here. That's why I want to try it. Shout out, shout out.
What's your beer for a soccer game? What's your go-to beer? Whatever. Modelo? Another Modelo.
Modelo.
Icy cold, bottom of the cooler. Don't tell your friends, and then come grab it, crack it open. You'll drink it in 2 gulps. Cans.
I think the lukewarm water is pretty good too, though.
Warm water.
If you guys are at Raices, come through. Just come up to our producer here, Joe. Let's see the shirt here real quickly.
Whoa, Nathaniel, whoa, time out. Costa Rica best 11 is probably better than U.S. men's national team. All right, you're out of here, Nathaniel. I'm not kidding, you can stay, but come on, dude. Nathaniel, if you were here, you get this shirt. Hold on, look at it here.
I don't know.
Anybody want an Incha shirt? Hey, Jerry,
Let's get it, let's get it. Oh,
Oh, yes!
Nice,
All right.
nice.
All right. I'm back in. You see that throw?
That was good. One more jersey?
I almost hit the woman's drink.
One more shirt? One more? Who wants one? Who wants one? One more. Let's see.
That's it. We're doing
You gotta ask the producer over here.
We're doing. Look at this. Everyone wants a shirt. Hey! Wait. Look at the back of the
There
shirt.
we go.
Open up. Look at. Oh shit! It's got it right.
Hey, watch your beers.
Watch your beers. Oh, look! Everyone's getting a shirt. Who is this?
Oh.
Freaking Earl Hershiser over
We
here.
got Elway. One more throw.
All right. Very nice, very nice.
We need that T-shirt cannon.
I wish I could throw it to our audience here. I wish I could throw it to our audience. Andy, as I'm feeling like Oprah, who gets a shirt? Who wants a shirt?
He's the Oprah right now. He's doing
make
an
sure
Oprah.
you don't throw it, the green one, to an 8-year-old kid, all right? Because of the messaging on the back.
ETO is not responsible for it.
ETO. I hope you guys had a great time. Raices Brewery. If you're in Denver, come here. Great beer. Highly recommended by everyone. There's a beer here. It looks like someone dropped an egg in it. It's so rich. It looks fantastic. Come here. Denver's fantastic. I recommend coming to Denver. There's other stuff you can do other than beer that you're legally allowed to here if you're into that kind of stuff.
Did you wink right now? Yeah.
Take a ride up to Leadville. Go to Aspen, Vail. Beautiful, majestic countryside. Not countryside, majestic mountaintops. So come to Denver. Denver's making a push for the 26th World Cup, and they're going to put their best foot forward here tonight. Your thoughts? How many times have you been to Denver?
First time. No, wonderful place. Great weather. It beats the 120 from Phoenix. That's the one thing I'll give to Denver. But no, definitely looking forward to coming back again.
Yeah, get in there.
There we go. Let's see the Incha brand. There we go. There we go.
It's a nice soft cut. Turn around and see.
Is he going to turn around? Hey!
Thank you guys. All right, you look good. Hell, look at him. He's a handsome guy. He looks even better with that shirt. People are doing salsa merengue outside.
Hey.
Oh, this kid. Why?
Hey, give him the green shirt. No, shout out to everybody that's been watching us. Everybody here at Raices, wonderful people. Denver, wonderful town. Everybody's been super friendly. Let's get some footage of that.
Yeah. There's a little kid getting his shirt.
Bravo.
Lágrima. Ticos are legit. Costa Rica's average age is 45. They're not. They get some young players. There he is. Que lindo. What a great evening. Joe's going to make me go because more and more people are coming on here, but my voice is, I might need some more lukewarm water. We'll wrap it up? Great. You know why we have to wrap it up? Got to get ready for a game. I'll say again, check out Max Bretos YouTube, the Soccer OG. Check El Tri Online, ETO. Incredible coverage of Liga. With those two, you'll be equipped for the rest of the summer. We'll be back. I will have a recap of the game once it concludes. Check out the Soccer OG podcast too from Denver, and we'll have it all discussed. Any final words, Ramon?
No, shout
Ramon
out.
Chavez, everyone.
No, thank you so much, Max. Thank you for everybody that has been in the comments, liking us, everybody here at Raices. The crowd has been wonderful, and I'm looking forward to an amazing game, a great start to the summer, and we hope to see you again on the El Tri Online page, and I'll definitely be on the Soccer OG page. You can't, all that coverage right there from this guy, Max Bretos, the Soccer OG. Thank you.
I'll be on my Instagram, and I'll show us having a beer here, okay? So go to my Bretos Instagram, and we'll have a cheers. Have a great night. Enjoy the game. CBS Sports Network. Paramount Plus. We're doing free promotion for you guys. And yes, TUDN, Honduras, Costa Rica, 65th minute. You want to tune over there right now. Good game. Thanks. We really appreciate your support. Talk to you soon.